But my senior year in high school is when I actually went to Florida Relays. I won the 110 hurdles, which was crazy because I had a rival who was the best in the state of Florida, who won the state championship the previous year in the 110s, but I ended up beating him at Florida Relays. And that's the same meet when me, the twins, and Rodney Adams, who was also on the Vikings NFL team, he was at our high school also. We ran the 4x4 and we won the Florida Relays 4x4 in a 3:13, which was the number one ranked time in the nation. So that's another great accomplishment that happened before transitioning to going to New Balance Nationals at the end of the season. Oh, before I get to that, we also won the state championship. Was like, I'm not mistaken, it was the first time in history that my high school men's team won the state championship. It was me, Liddell Golden, Shaquem Griffin, Rodney Adams, DeAndre Boykins. It was like quite a few of us. But after that, we decided that we were gonna go to New Balance Nationals, and at New Balance Nationals, I got second in the 400 meter hurdles, and once again, I stutter step, but I ended up running 50.6 as a high school senior. So that's a really great time because in 2014, most of the collegiate athletes at NCAA's had a few 50 points in the race. So if I could remember, I think I would have got 5th in that race. But once I actually started to get college offers, Trayvon, he got college offers before me because he was running a lot faster at a younger age. But the same college offers he had, my AAU coach, Garland Boyd, she would have me sitting in the meetings with Trayvon so that way I can get a gist of how it would all work once I started to get college offers. And she was basically trying to tell the collegiate coaches not to give up on me because I would basically be one of the stars also. So they kept their eyes on me, but they were really just focusing on Trayvon, which I understood because he deserved to get the collegiate offers because he had already put the times up to show that he was one of the best. So eventually, my time got a lot faster, and the college coaches started to reach out to my dad and to my AAU coach about me. And basically, Baylor is the school that was recruiting Trayvon, and I was in the meeting with his coach also, who was going to recruit me and said that he would be my coach once I got to Baylor. So long story short, I had other offers that I didn't take. I only took but 2 visits to schools. I went to Baylor and I went to George Mason. I was supposed to take a visit to the University of Florida, South Carolina, and I didn't choose the other one. I just cut it short. After the state championship, I just wanted to go home. I didn't really want to go on any visits. And plus, from talking to Trayvon, he was like, bro, just come. We've been on the same team forever. Like, just stick together. I mean, they got a great coach that's going to get you strong in the 400, and it's a really great school. So I didn't want to leave him by himself. And plus, they had already had a coach that coached Sonia Richards, Jeremy Warner, and Michael Johnson. So I knew that if I would get my 400 time a lot faster, I would definitely be faster in the 400 meter hurdles. So I decided to go to that school, which was a really great school. I met a lot of great friends there, a lot of great people actually. So I was happy with my decision once I got there. In the fall, I ended up getting my first injury when I got to Baylor University. And that's when I decided that I was gonna leave the school. In January, before the season even started, I had talked to the head coach and I was like, I want to go back home. I don't really want to be here. I felt like it was a lot going on. I don't know. I was just upset. But he was like, let's just stick out the season, see how it goes. At first, the season was not going according to plan. But once I got into the conference meet, that's when I ran my first 49 seconds. And it was just crazy because I could have never imagined running 49 seconds in the 400 hurdles as a freshman in college because the season had not been going well for me. I was running like 52, 51. So I guess I just needed time to adjust. So by the time championship season came around, that's when I started to run a lot faster. I ran at the conference meet, and I was the Big 12 runner-up, and I ran a 49.90 or 49.98, one of those. Then I went to regionals, and it was at Arkansas, and this was like, I guess, a big meet that I didn't really understand what scale it was on, but I just went out there and ran my race, and I ended up winning my heat to qualify me for my first NCAA championships ever, and I won that heat with a 49 once again. So I was just really amazed that I was being so consistent at running those times, and I knew I had a lot left in me because I didn't have my alternate leg down pat yet, because I couldn't take 13 steps around the whole track. So it was still a lot of things that I had to work on. After regionals, when I qualified for the NCAA championship, I had to run the prelim round. But a few days before I ran the prelim round, my grandma called me because God showed her a vision of what was about to happen. And at first, I was listening to her, but I was kind of confused because I was just like, why is she saying this? Like, I don't know. I didn't understand. But she described to me that it was going to be a kid to my left who had on a navy blue and like light blue uniform, and she said a kid on my right was going to have on a similar color uniform. And after running the prelim race, when I crossed the finish line and I saw their uniform color, I was just like, wait, my grandma described to me this same exact thing. So I qualified for the finals, and then when I ran the finals, of course, I was hoping that I was going to win. That was my main goal. But my grandma had already spoke to my mom and told her that I was going to get fourth, because that's what God showed her. He spoke that to her. So they already knew what place I was going to get. And once I finished the race and they called me, that's exactly what happened. After this, I made my first USA World Junior team. After making my first World Junior final, I wasn't really nervous. I was just anxious because, of course, I wanted to win. And I knew I was one of the top ranked guys to be able to get the gold medal. So there was me, it was a heated field. There was me and two other guys that were definitely going to be close at the line. And my grandma called me a few days before this race once again. She told me that God showed her a vision of me and the guy competing. And she's from Georgia, so she's kind of country. And when God speaks to you, he talks the same way that you would talk, so that way you can understand it. So when she saw the vision, he told her that me and the guy were going to be bone to bone, basically going over the hurdles at the same time, neck and neck. And that's exactly what happened, and the video is still on YouTube today. Eventually, coming off the curve for the last 100, that's when he kind of started to take off a little bit, and I ended up getting third. And of course, my mom thought I was going to win, but my grandma had already told her before the race started that I was going to get third. And once the race was over and I talked to my grandma and my mom, these are the conversations that I had with them. And it was just blowing my mind that God had already showed her these things, because I'm not going to say I didn't know it was possible, but I just wasn't at that level yet to know that these type of things could happen. But I'm very grateful that my grandma had that gift, because she's the reason why I was able to gain a lot of faith and build my own strong relationship with God myself. And that's why these type of things have been happening more often. So after this accomplishment, I decided that I still wanted to go home. I never changed in my mind, even though I went through the whole season. Exactly what I told the coach in January is still what I wanted to happen once I finished my season out. So I actually had been talking to my AAU coach and just told her that I still wanted to go home and that I wanted to transfer schools to the University of Florida. I asked Baylor for my release papers, and then my coach figured everything out. But before doing this, I had talked to, of course, my close friend from back home. I didn't want to just leave him and make him think that I was leaving him stranded. So I told him after the World Junior Championship on our way back home on the plane, I was like, yeah, it's not working out. I want to go back home. And I guess he thought I was playing at first because he was like, "What you telling me that for?" But once everything started to like transition, he saw that I was serious about it, and then he ended up calling me. I guess the coaches wanted him to keep talking to me to get me to stay, but they saw that it wasn't going to work. So I ended up leaving. I definitely did miss the coaches, my friends, and everyone that I had a close relationship at the school, but I was definitely ready for a new transition because I knew that if I wanted to get to the next level, I would have to transfer, and plus I was able to see my family, and it just felt like home. I just missed it. So I was happy that I was able to get back to where I had come from, and I just knew that going into my sophomore season, it was going to be a lot greater for me. But what I didn't know was to get to greatness, of course there was going to be trials. So a few things happened to me my sophomore year in college. But before I discuss that now, I'm going to make sure that I leave you guys on this cliffhanger. I don't want to move too fast, so I'm going to save that for next week. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video and tune in to keep hearing about my life because I know for a fact it's definitely going to touch someone.